welcome mere mortals to another round of the monthly goals. These ones only come around once every month. So
who would have guessed it?
Yeah.
Who would have goddamn guessed it?
Imagine if we did like 13 in a month, 13 in a year. It's just like, whoa, how'd that happen?
No.
So we're going to talk about how we went in February for our goals and what's coming up in March. So
I want to hear some true energy from you today.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that later.
Cool.
So yes, my monthly goals. Got to find them first. Where the hell are they? So I had a pretty good month in general.
Nice.
Out of all of them, I think there was only 3 that I sort of didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one was approaching every time I was out.
Yep.
Yeah, just didn't do that. But I am getting out more, which is
Okay.
sort of what I want to be
There's
doing.
at least some part that you're doing more.
Some progress are there.
Mm-hmm.
The 5X Spanish podcast shout outs. I didn't do that mostly because I only really did establish my sort of Spanish channel on the last day. And so I was like, well, no,
on the very last day.
Yeah. And then searching for an event volunteer for February. I couldn't actually find one in February, but I've got one lined up for this month and some more coming up soon as well. So other than that,
what is up with the volunteering things not being available? It's getting a little bit annoying.
Well, I think you just have to be sort of persistent about it as well. Like I was, when I went onto the volunteer site in December, there was really nothing on there. But now that I'm going on there a bit more often,
there's a few more that you're
starting
seeing.
to receive some emails from them, automated ones. And most of the ones are that I find are usually around sporting events and things like that. So it'll be like a charity bike ride, or I think just maybe it's even today. If today's Women's Day, or either today or yesterday was, there's like a run for the Women's Day thing.
Yeah, and 8th of March is International Women's Day, but I'm sure there's something happening this weekend.
Yeah, there's a fun run they're doing. So I imagine they would have asked for volunteers, and if I just found it sooner, I could have gone along with it. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, that's cool. For me, there was 2 items. One was the 12 running sessions and 100 kilometers of running.
Ooh, yeah.
That didn't happen. I'm not going to blame myself. I'm not going to blame myself too hard because that's basically halfway through the month, just rolling my ankle and basically
just run on a broken ankle.
Broken ankle. Should have made those goals. So
David Goggins would.
I'm okay to not be David Goggins at that level. So that was cool. The other one was undertake a charitable event. So again, was looking around, couldn't really find anything. I think interestingly enough though, I'm still waiting to hear back on doing the MS walk event this month. And I think you've also put yourself up for that. So I've actually got an email waiting on me to have a look at it.
Oh, I didn't know you were doing that because I said that and she was like, yeah, we'll just sort of put you with someone. So they actually said,
oh, really?
So I don't know, maybe
there you go. Okay.
Like, hey, I want to do it with Kyrin. Or we can just meet new people.
This is Mere Mortals real time. Anyway, so those are the 2 for me that
Mere Mortals.
I just stuffed up. But everything else went well, at least, which is good. Which included a break as well, which was nice.
Yeah. What are you most proud of what you got done last month?
It's a cool one. I think it was the 3 influential conversations I had, because I didn't have too many conversations as part of the podcast for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'd really put myself out there to talk to new people. We went to a networking event that led to having more conversations. I separately saw, even through LinkedIn, someone actively commenting saying, oh, I met this dude at a networking event. He was pretty cool. Listen to the podcast, which I was like, oh nice. That's awesome. So those were the key, I think, the highlights for me.
Yeah,
what about you?
I mean, it was really good to get off the back the Spanish one. Like it just required 5 hours of just setting aside time and then uploading all these things and whatnot. So,
are we going to talk about how you went with vegan today?
No. I'll talk about that a little bit later.
All right. So tune in for that in another podcast, folks.
Yeah. So,
okay. Let's go to March.
Yeah. So I'll kick us off. So these are my ones related to getting out more, sort of meeting women, and also creating some, I guess, people, a community for the podcast sort of thing. So I'm going to try and attempt to catch up with all friend groups. So
I have started to see that. Yep.
Yeah, I've been reaching out to not just like the core ones of like my high school friends, but also just sort of like random people that I know are in Brisbane. So my old work colleagues, for example, I've got something organized for that.
Minds.
And all sorts of things related to that. Want to go to 2 new meetup groups. So
cool.
That's just getting out there more and whatnot. do 4 Instagram lives. So we're going to start doing that from today, actually. Well, on a Sunday.
Cool.
Every Sunday at roughly in the afternoon in AEST time.
Is that going to be pre 4 p.m. or after 6
I don't know.
What are we thinking? We'll figure it out.
Let's just do it one first, and then we'll figure out what we actually want. And then, I've switched the 5 Spanish podcast shout-outs onto this month. So
there you go. Okay, nice. I'm going to start us off with, I've been doing this for a long time, but I don't think I've ever called it out. So especially in work purposes, when you do, say, a sprint or a block of work, you'll normally define a goal. And it's more a descriptive goal than it is a absolute goal of, I'm going to do X amount of things. So my descriptive goal for this month, it's overall, it's to lay off the ankle to actually let it heal. Slowly work back into running, but allowing swimming to replace it in the time. Focus on the venture capital idea, mere mortals, and the normal work, and establish better connections. So that's the plan for the month.
Okay, nice.
Give it balance. But now, so obviously the body to begin with. So I want to strengthen the ankle, but there's a weird goal. Strengthen the ankle by laying off it, working back into some running form.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
This was specifically, I know myself, I will want to just go, let's just get back into it. So I've made it a goal to not do that, and almost just, if I have to focus on it, more on the technique of running and the movement as opposed to just go out there and get a running in. So that's one. I want to get 3 swimming sessions done at least this month to swap it up. So instead of running, it's going to be swimming. Focus on obtaining points in the form of snatch. So this is snatches. So for those who don't know, throwing the barbell pretty much over your head in one swift movement. I've gotten the bottom level points for that. We'll talk about points later. But to achieve some of the higher end ones, it's going to take a good solid month of effort. So we'll see what we can do. And then concerted effort to improve my nutrition. So this one's a pretty big one. I enjoyed my past month sort of attempt at spending 2% of my income. That was great. I bought a couple of things that I never would have, and I actually used them, and I thought it was really cool. But now I'm gonna keep doing that, but focus a little bit more on my nutrition. So I've started buying a few things which are a little bit more holistically. So looking at the macro and the micro nutrients that I'm obtaining, and just playing around, making sure I've got the right nutrition in my everyday life, because I can get really lazy with it. So just leveling myself up in that regard. So,
or you could just not eat.
Not eat like Kyrin. That's also true.
All right. So these ones for me are related to, just improving the podcast, making it at some point financially viable, but not necessarily needing to. And then also just general health stuff. So, implement a full list of micro improvements. So on my little sheet here, I've got 4 particular things I want to do to improve the podcast. They're only small little things, but I want to give them a try and get them all done. I want to reach out to 3 people for honest feedback as well. So
listeners?
Listeners. Obviously listeners.
Okay, cool.
People who I know listen to the podcast semi-regularly at least, and say, hey, what's something you think we could do better? Because we haven't really done that yet. So want to do that. And then while I am doing there's just general health stuff. So cutting down a little bit to 75 to 76 kilos, somewhere in between there. I'm actually sitting going for the prisoner of war look. Well, right at this moment, I'm sitting on 70.5. So I actually need to gain 5 kilos. Because I haven't eaten for 5 days.
A while, yep.
But I'm sure that'll jump back up. And then once a week while I'm running. So one of the things I've noticed with my running is I wasn't sticking to a real tight thing. I was saying, I'll run for 2 kilometers and then I'll walk. But I wasn't actually doing that. I was sort of like, it was maybe like
2.5. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I'm sort of allowing myself once a week to break that and not do that. But the other days, I have to be very, very strict with myself and say, you can run to this 2 kilometers, walk as long as you need to. It doesn't matter how long you walk, but just make sure that when you start running again, you run to that next 4 kilometer mark, 6 kilometer mark and whatnot. So that's just a way of keeping strict with myself.
Okay. I'd like to hear how that goes. For me, in the mind section in here, undertake 2 conversations with giants. So it comes to the VC idea. Didn't do it last month just because I had holidays. I was just busy with other things, didn't get around to it. And there wasn't even any availability. So I'm going to make a concerted effort to go and chase them down, find some time to do that, and just see how that goes. I want to create a new landing page for that prototype idea. So I've already begun that last month as a bit of a trial, but I want to put a little bit more effort into doing that. So kind of just get the idea on the page and see, okay, does this make sense? Is it still something worth pursuing? I want to attend a minimum of one networking event. So, you're talking about getting out to other sort of occasions and social groups that might pair up as well. I haven't started even having a look, but I hope there's probably going to be more around here in Brisbane, which will be good.
Yeah, for sure.
And then my last one was just more around the actual podcast, just talking about, so most people out there would have known about our theme podcasts. That's probably coming up to I wouldn't say it's end legs, but we're starting to get to the point where okay, we're thinking about something different.
Do something a bit different,
So it's just having a good conversation and solidifying what's those next type of conversations we want to have, which I've got some ideas, but I want to just chat them through and make sure we got them ready for the next month.
Yeah, sounds good. Coolies. All right, my next ones are related to doing a silent retreat and then also improving my German and Spanish. So I've sort of started doing breaking up. Well, I've been increasing the meditation, so I'm now doing 40 minutes a day. Probably next month I'll up it to an hour a day. And I want to do miss less than 5 evening meditations. So I've sort of been splitting it like 20 in the morning, 20 in the evening. I want to gradually like change my routine over the next month or two to the point where it'll be similar to something that I'll be doing while I'm actually like out on my own meditating, I guess, essentially for the most part. So yeah, those evening ones, those are the ones I struggle with because I tend to miss them.
Right. Okay.
And so I'm trying to keep pretty strict with those. Then I also wanted to practice a 2-hour long meditation session.
You've done this before?
No, I've only done an hour before.
Okay.
And that was the one I really struggled with.
Yeah.
I actually already have done this because we're how many days into the month? 7 days.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, right.
So I actually already have done that. Damn, it was hard, man.
Hard?
Yeah.
Did you do it outdoors?
No, I did it in here. The sitting part, so I sort of did like an hour sitting and then an hour lying down.
Okay.
And the sitting one was real mental torture, man. That's honestly probably close to one of the hardest things I've ever done. Just mentally taxing for sure.
Yeah, right.
It's unbelievable how uncomfortable you can get just sitting still and not moving. It's unbelievable.
Hip flexors start like painting away, legs are hurting.
It's just there's this general urge to move rises up. You like the ass sort of hurts a little bit, but you just, I don't know if you've ever had that nervous energy in you where you just want to move, you just want to, like say you're in a doctor's office or something, and you're like, I need to get moving. Yeah. Or in a dentist chair, and it's like you feel that urge to move. It was like that, but for the last half an hour, it was excruciating.
Dang.
Then the other ones were fill in 2 pages of the German book and then hit up a Latino event of some sort. Yeah.
There you go. Nice. How's the German coming along?
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's I'm basically just learning vocab at the moment, and I was actually trashing out Duolingo a little bit before. I shouldn't do that because it is actually being useful to me. But I'm moving away from it.
Okay.
So
it's provided the value that you at least wanted to take.
Yeah. Like it's got that part of it with that initial sort of like game type. Oh, I can get these points and streaks on days and things like that. Which is good to just. I'm pretty motivated anyway, but it was good just to have some like a little bit of
extra support, motivation to do
structure where I didn't need to put in the effort to think about the structure of it. But now I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll start learning what I think I need to learn.
Okay, nice. My last 5 on soul. So one is using the time away to focus on the emotional control. So I was on the holiday. So that's basically something that practice that was more around using meditation, visualization during the holiday. So that sort of took place. That was good. Implementing guiding word to help in the way I connect with others. So this was interesting. A lot of the time in the past few months, I've been doing a lot of work. So in the emotional control, so this is personally using music, using the time I wake up, the activities I'm doing, visualizations, etc. So this is, I've previously done this with things like, what's that app called for meditation?
Headspace.
Same thing with Sam Harris's sort of guided ones. So maybe playing around with some of them this month as well. Because I've done a lot just on my own. Definitely not as much as you do. But enough for me that I'm like, okay, I want to try just some guided ones. I haven't done it for a long time. Just to see how much different that makes. And I think for me, it'll probably make a lot. Because it's almost like an activity as opposed to me feeling like I'm doing nothing.
Yeah, I can definitely recommend the Sam Harris one. I found that Very,
be good.
very useful. Yep.
Okay. The other one is practice being uncomfortable daily.
Ooh.
Daily. So I found that practicing being uncomfortable
Sit
weekly
still
was
for a
easy.
while,
Yeah, maybe I'll have to. It was actually really easy to be uncomfortable weekly.
Yeah.
Just randomly would find every 2 days, like, oh yeah, there's something to be really like uncomfortable about here. Whether it was
So what are some examples of those?
In the past week, past month. One of them was running. So before, like, I rolled my ankle, there was a day when I was running and I was supposed to do 5Ks, and I was like, oh, I've got a chance, I've got time, I've got the chance. I just ran 10Ks that day. It just sort of happened. So it was one of those where you might be in the moment or before you do something where you think like, oh, okay, this might be a bit uncomfortable. Cool, let's just do it. I think it's similar. There was a meeting on a particular day that I didn't really want to do, and I didn't have to do it. I could have gone and done something else. And I was like, oh, okay. This is kind of pointing at me in a direction that I should be doing this, and it ended up being better for it. So, finding something to be uncomfortable daily is actually, it's not. When I wrote it down, I thought, dang, that sounds like it's going to be difficult, but in the end, it actually isn't if you're paying attention to your day to day, or at least the things that you don't want to be doing. So, so I'll give you an example. Obviously, like today, I was at the gym just previously, and I was doing some bench, and I was still doing my German volume training, so it's 10 by 10 on a particular weight. And I actually got to the 8th set, and I thought, I've just come back. I'm going into it. I could probably reduce the weight and just go down in reps because it's okay. Like, I'm just starting the month again. I could see it in my sense. I'm like, no, I can't just continue doing it. It'll be uncomfortable. Like, it's not impossible. It's going to be really uncomfortable and more of a push. So I thought, no, just keep doing it. Like, that's not a place to be comfortable. So that's a very small thing, but I'll probably find a couple of them daily. So it'll force me to do that. I want to practice a half day on my own event. I don't know how I'm going to find the time to do this, but I'm going to find it. I initially wrote down maybe some sort of hike for half a day or just going somewhere for half a day, but this is kind of on my own with myself. I haven't done this for ages. I used to do this a lot and I really enjoyed it, but I haven't done it for a long time. So making some time for it. And I want to make time for 2 giving thoughts in any day. So I can't really recall where I found this particular idea from. It was from a podcast, but I can't remember now. And it was just shifting the mindset of every day away from, I guess, yourself to something else or some other person, and sort of that empathetic feeling towards other people. So it was, and this was going to be hard. So I'm sort of starting this one basically from yesterday of having thoughts of giving at least twice a day. And that'll force me to get out of my own mind and my own head of thinking, oh, okay, I've got to do this, I've got to go do that, and more towards, I'm interacting with someone. Okay, is there a way that I could be supporting them, or I could be doing something for them, as opposed to just completely thinking about myself in that situation? So that one will also require me to be obviously interacting with people almost on a daily basis, which is going to be interesting. So we'll see how that one goes.
Yeah,
that's cool. All the monthly goals for me.
I like that last one. That one sounds cool. It's good to do those, and it's so easy to get caught up in your own I want, and the real beneficial times are reaching out to other people, and even if it's just the thought of it, your thoughts control your actions, sort of thing. So
correct.
If you're doing that more, I'm sure it'll result in actual action as well. So my last ones are related to sort of charity stuff, and then also the I guess learning more about Buddhism and reading those texts at some point. So I want to clean up my workout area every single time. A lot of times I'll be in this area where I'm regularly at, and I'll notice just like trash on the ground, and I'll just leave it. It's like, that's someone else's problem. I didn't put it there. Considering how often I'm there, I want to clean it up. So that's one thing I want to do. Book in 2 volunteer gigs for April. So this is more just getting ahead of schedule with the volunteer stuff.
Nice.
I think trying to organize it in the same month is a bit difficult, but if you can organize it for the next month
ahead,
that works well. I want to research where I can actually get the texts. So I'm sort of getting to the point where I actually want to be reading them on my own. I feel like I've got enough grounding now to, if they're using like Dharma or the Four Noble Truths or whatever, I'll sort of be like, oh,
you get the idea what it is.
I know what I know the rough direction they're going with that. And then also just collating the main information I've learned from it. So I've got like I think like a little bit of a grounding in Buddhism, what it's about, but I want to actually write it in my own language and thoughts and say, okay, this is sort of what it's about.
Good.
Yeah. And those are the goals for March.
For March, man, rolls around so quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez, I was looking back at the actual notes of when I very first began nerding it in this way, and it was August 2020. And that, to me, seems like almost like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just like, man, that's rolled around really quickly in the same time. So
yeah, it's good. It's good.
Actually, no, I lie. I lie. It's not August 2020. It would be August 2019.
Yeah.
Just that I'm not looking at the actual spreadsheet here. Very good. Okay. What about points?
So
I don't know if you've got them up in front of you quickly.
I've got it right now. I'm just searching through. So in February, I got the pistol squats. So 25 kg, 3 on each leg, which I was pretty happy with.
Mm-hmm.
I also got the rest of my points for the one-arm push-ups. So this was 2 one-arm push-ups on each side and then 3 one-arm push-ups on each side.
Yep.
That ruined my back. I'm probably not going to do those again because that was... I've definitely hurt something in this upper back portion.
Oh, really?
It was sort of like through poor form, mostly, I think, or I was definitely doing this bit where I'd come down on the right side and I would feel this sort of like clunking in the shoulder area.
Yeah, I know that. I know
just
that feeling.
Pushed through it. Like I was just like, no, I've just got to get these. Funnily enough, that was just in the training for it. So when I actually did them, I did it better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've just had this niggling thing, which has actually forced me to change some of my other routines around, which is annoying. And I also got points for the pull-ups. So I did 3 pull-ups with 32.5 kg. So
nice.
I actually got quite a lot of points this month, but I'm guessing you got even more because I thought I was ahead of you. But
yeah, well, in the end, this month I was able to do, well, the previous month, the front squat points, and that was doubles as well. So I was able to, that's the one that I almost like, not died, but that barbell was about to slip off and destroy itself. That was when this was pre my phone being fixed. So the camera, I actually took a video of it and it was like super glitchy and blurry. And I was like so annoyed that I was like, why is it going this way? Obviously, I realized the phone bloody just didn't work.
Yeah.
But that was 4 points. So that was really good. And also the snatch points as well. The very first snatch points. So that totaled me 6 points all up.
Very cool.
So I'm hoping to get a couple more of those snatch this month, but I don't know. That's going to be tough. So 33 points for me.
Yeah.
31 points for yourself.
Yeah. And so we're almost halfway through now. So after March, we'll be halfway through. So.
And if you remember last year when we were doing this, we could like speed up. It speeds up at the end because you're getting towards those higher points.
Yeah.
But
I think I'd have to go back and check, but I think we would be slightly further ahead right now than we were last year.
Last year, perhaps.
Yeah.
And what are you thinking? Half marathon in sub 1 hour and 50 minutes?
Bro, out of all of it, I think the marathon in 4 hours is the hardest.
It's going to be the hardest?
I've started doing half marathons. So I've done 2 now, and they're really hard. They're really the jump up between 15 and 21.1 Ks is a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But
I've got to say, when I jumped from, again, I've only run up to 10 Ks, and that other day that I ran 10 Ks, I did it, I can't even recall. It's 46 minutes. 46 minutes. 56 minutes. And that didn't feel too bad. And I felt like, I could have really pushed on. But yeah, I can anticipate that when I begin getting back into running and starting doing some of the longer distance, like half marathons, I'll just be like, wow, okay, this is, and you were saying, the very first one, I won't even take the second one that you did, but the first half marathon, it was like 2.5 hours. Even if you were able to replicate that for a marathon, you're still like an hour over what we should be doing. Exactly. Like that is no small feat. That is a lot of time to say, to bring back.
Same with, say I run my heart out, I get the half marathon in 1 hour 50. That still means that
you got to do it again.
I need to do all that again at a solid 6 minute pace, and that's just like the 6 minutes is good, man. That's
6 minute pace is when I was after 10 Ks, 20 Ks. That's good.
When I was doing 15K at a 6 minute pace, I was like, man, this is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this. So yeah, we'll see.
Oh gosh, March. So, we'll see what it brings.
That was maybe one of the goals where I was like, maybe I should have made it a bit easier. But no, it's good.
Don't make it easier. It's gotta make it hard. All right, folks. Yes. That's basically it for the mere mortals here for the March goals. Hope you enjoyed.
What are your goals? Do you have any goals that you're working on for, I don't know, 2021, or even if you're doing the monthly goals? I actually listened to this girl's podcast where she split her goals into yearly, 6 monthly, 3 monthly, monthly. I just went, man, that's beyond being mortal.
That was Sarah Newport's. Is Sarah's interview going to be out? afford this after this? Oh, listen to Sarah's Newport's chat anyways when it comes out.
That'll come out after.
Yeah, so listen to Sarah's, but just a little tidbit on it. She has a 10-year plan, a 5-year plan, 3-year plan, 1-year plan, quarterly plan, there's daily plans. I was like,
bruh,
damn. And she thought about them when she was 10 years old. So, yeah, pretty brutal. Listen to that.
Some people out there, man.
All right, folks, that's it. The Immortals, one out.
Going out.
Hey.